Hey, welcome to Home Video Hangouts. I'm Cody, and I wanted to make this video as a follow-up to one of my more popular videos in the last year where I talked about why it's important to collect physical media in 2024. And in this video, I wanted to kind of talk about this year, 2025, whether it still makes sense to collect physical media and why it's important, and just how I think things have changed a little bit. So let's get right into it. So if you've been following my channel for a while, or any of the other YouTube channels that are out there that have great content about collecting physical media, you already probably know a lot of the benefits of collecting physical media and the benefits of having physical media in over using streaming services, whether we're talking about movies or even CDs, video games, or a lot of other content that's out there. There's a lot of cost savings associated with collecting physical media long term. Once you buy something on DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever format, you own that forever. You can watch it as much as you want. That can't be taken away from you. Whereas if you buy a digital copy of something, you don't own the rights to that fully forever. It can be taken away from you still. It's really just a long-term rental, unfortunately. And there's just a lot of issues with streaming services in terms of them being lower quality than physical media, the continuous price increases we see with the streaming services, whether that's all the video streaming services or the music streaming services. So, I've covered a lot of that in other videos. There's a lot of content on YouTube about that as well. But I just wanted to make this update video to kind of share what I've been seeing changing in this space in 2025. So to start out, I want to talk about my local area, my local community. I live in the greater Sacramento area of California, and what's interesting about this area is we have a lot of shopping, a lot of stores, a lot of unique stores even in this densely populated city. And I luckily have a lot of great physical media stores nearby. I'm initially from the Bay Area of California, where out there we had the series of Rasputin stores, which are great record stores that have a lot of movies, a lot of CDs, and there's also a couple Amoeba stores. Those are good stores. One of them's in Southern California, but there's one in Berkeley that I've gone to a number of times too. Those are really great stores, and there's a variety of other even smaller local stores in the Bay Area. But in Sacramento, or at least the greater Sacramento area, we have the series of record stores called The Cave. And I've made some videos kind of showing those stores, and also not too far away we have some of the Rasputin stores and even the Mad Monk store in Modesto, California, which is an even larger physical media store that I've made a video about. And those are all great stores to have nearby. And there's even a few much smaller ones, like locally owned stores that have one small location where they buy and sell physical media. And so in my own local area, what's interesting is even while we've seen how the big retailers like Target, for example, are cutting way down on physical media and have just a very small section of it with almost no movies at all now, and how we've seen Best Buy has gotten rid of all of their movies completely and has even downsized their video game section a ton. Even amongst all of that, the local physical media stores in my area are expanding, and across different types of media as well. So the primary store around here, The Cave, they recently opened 2 new locations in the last year. One is one of their largest stores, and then the second one was an outlet store where they were offering lower prices, which has now become a full-fledged store for them. And they're opening these stores in areas like one of them's in Roseville, California, which is more of an upscale area that has more upscale stores and a high-end mall nearby. And then the outlet store they opened is an older city, Citrus Heights, where they have they have some good stores, but it's a lot of like older properties, older stores. So it's really interesting to see that. And then in addition, I've seen that Rasputin in the Bay Area, they expanded they closed one of their stores to move to a larger location in, I believe it's Walnut Creek or Concord, California. So those are all good signs to see physical media expanding in the movie and kind of record store space. But in addition to that, a lot of people know retro video game collecting has really exploded and is very popular, and a lot of prices of pre-owned retro games have gone up, and then GameStop's going more into the retro stuff with video games. But there's a local store to me near here that recently opened their second location. And so that's another thing where with video game stores, those things are taking off like crazy. I've seen more and more of those stores popping up. So even when we're seeing all these big retailers taking away physical media, not wanting to sell it, not thinking it's worthwhile for them, we're seeing the local smaller stores pick that up. And what this also reminds me of is in the industry as a whole, we're seeing how even if we're not seeing the same caliber of physical media releases from larger studios necessarily, there's a lot of smaller studios picking up physical media releases and doing more special releases and remasters, remakes, restorations. A lot of the special labels that kind of do those things are coming out with more good quality releases, and those come at a high price, unfortunately, because a lot of work goes into them, and it's different. But I think it's interesting just the trends we're seeing here within physical media, and as collectors, it's cool that we're seeing a lot of these local stores because it gives us somewhat of an affordable outlet, at least right now, to pick up things to add to our collection. It's still unfortunate that the large retailers aren't offering the new media in the same degree as they were before, but you can still pick up a lot of these things new on Amazon. Or even Walmart still has an okay physical media selection at a lot of their stores. And then of course we have websites like Groove where you can almost buy directly from the studios in a way. We do still have a lot of options in 2025. It's just things are shifting. Things are shifting to the smaller companies away from these gigantic companies. And I think in a lot of ways that helps build this physical media community, and I think physical media can still thrive in that format and in that space. And I think if we kind of collaborate as collectors as well and do things like have conventions or swap meets where a lot of times there's these video game shows where a lot of it is just people reselling video games, and it allows people who are collectors of video games to come together and buy, trade, sell. And I think that's a really great way to add to your collection compared to just buying everything new, because then you're supporting the whole community and we're not losing the games and different forms of physical media from them getting destroyed. Like, for example, I recently read an article about how the old VHS film Nuki, which wasn't rated high, wasn't considered a great movie, but was only available on VHS, one of the few films that you can only watch on VHS. I heard about how a lot of those films were destroyed to bring up the value that someone owned of that VHS film, and that was disappointing because that was a film where, like, oh, if I came across that, I would consider adding that to my collection at some point. But with just destroying a bunch of media, that's something I'm never going to get behind. I think it's important to share physical media with as many people as we can and kind of share this message that makes a lot of sense still to collect physical media in 2025. And so that's why I even still have a VHS player it's an upscaling VHS player that will upscale to 1080p, which is cool, and I still have that just in case I ever see a cool VHS I want to have in my collection and watch in that way. I know there's a lot of people that still want to watch horror films in VHS because they think that's the best way to watch a horror film, from that kind of grainy experience you get from that. So long story short, that's just kind of my thoughts on where physical media is at in 2025. And I still very much think that it's important to collect physical media in 2025. And I think the more that we collaborate as a community that loves physical media and movies and CDs and video games, the more we can come together within that, the more that we can help this industry thrive. And, sometimes these industries go through cycles where maybe right now big studios aren't going to put out as many physical media releases. Maybe big stores aren't going to sell as many types of physical media. But then if us as a community engage in the industry a lot and show there is still a lot of interest for these types of products, then that can change in the same way that records have become very popular again after a period of time where they were kind of on a downturn. And I think with what we're seeing with video games, especially, like the retro video game industry is going to take off like crazy. And I think it's just a matter of time where more and more people are going to engage with movies in the physical media format as well. And I don't know how many new physical media formats we're going to get beyond 4K that we have currently. But I think with what's going on right now, I think there's going to be more and more people getting frustrated with the cost associated with streaming services and the low quality and the changing availability of films, to where more and more people are going to want to have physical media. And I see how busy these local physical media stores get and how hard it can be to find certain pieces of used physical media. I think that things are growing within the industry, and more people are collecting physical media these days than we're made aware of, and that's going to have an impact long term in terms of what's available to us. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on this, whether you're increasing your physical media collection in 2025 or trying to downsize. I know some people are on the other side of this where they don't want to have physical items, they want to be minimalists and focus just on digital copies of things. I can understand some of the benefits of that too, but for me, it's important to own my favorite films. I really enjoy having all these movies behind me on my shelves where I can just go and look through them and pick out something to watch, just like I'm at a Blockbuster video store or something like that. I actually enjoy that a lot of the films you see behind me here are films I haven't actually seen yet. I do have a lot of my favorite ones in there that I have seen and have enjoyed and can watch multiple times, but I always pick up things that look interesting that I haven't seen yet, just so at some point I can pick them off my shelf, give it a watch, and watch something new without having to subscribe to a streaming service. But thanks for watching until the end of this video if you have. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the like button to support the channel. I'm going to be ramping up my content again, coming out with more videos for you after taking some time away. But thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.